Big news this week for pipelines. Keystone XL pipeline has just passed a major regulatory hurdle in Nebraska, which means Rachel Notley's pretending real hard to be happy right now. The Keystone XL pipeline, which would move Alberta oil through Nebraska and then to refineries and eventual export in the Gulf of Mexico, is one step closer to getting done. Regulators in Nebraska approved an alternative route for the pipeline through the state. This is great news for Alberta and our economy, but frankly, it's good news for all of Canada. This is a $10 billion pipeline project we all desperately need right now. And Alberta Premier Rachel Notley told the CBC she's just so pleased about Nebraska's approval of the new Keystone pipeline route. Which begs the question, does the Premier think we're all hard of remembering around here? The NDP have been against the Keystone XL pipeline since forever. Premier Rachel Notley once said she sided with Hillary Clinton with regard to the pipeline. Now, Hillary Clinton was a vocal opponent of the completion of Keystone XL. I guess we're all just supposed to forget about that now. In 2015, Rachel Notley told the CBC News that the NDP were against the Keystone XL pipeline. Just listen.
But just let's clarify that if you don't mind. Yeah. Thomas Mulcair against the Keystone XL pipeline. Are you against that pipeline?
We're against it the way it's currently proposed, because the way it's currently proposed is to ship unprocessed bitumen, and that is not good for Albertans. That's not good for the Alberta economy in the long run.
But how do you
But now, in typical CBC fashion, they're happily parroting Notley's latest line with regard to Keystone XL, as opposed to what she told them herself her position was in 2015, and really since the inception of the idea of Keystone. And you see this young lady here holding up the sign that says no more dirty oil? Well, that's NDP MLA Robin Luff at, you guessed it, an anti-Keystone XL protest in Calgary. Alberta's former envoy to Washington, Rob Merrifield, tweeted that Rachel Notley's first directive to him after she took office was to stop lobbying on behalf of the Keystone pipeline. In fact, just shortly after Notley took office, she terminated the contract of Rob Merrifield, who felt it was his job to promote Alberta's natural resources in Washington. I think Notley was worried that Merrifield might actually get the job done. Notley wanted Merrifield to leave a $10 billion project on the table, and she fired him to be sure of it. Keystone XL passed this latest regulatory hurdle despite Rachel Notley and her actions, certainly not because of her. And nowhere in the regulator's decision in Nebraska was a mention of Rachel Notley's job-killing carbon tax and all the so-called social license she keeps telling us it's buying for us. The regulators didn't care. Now, I love irony, and I think there's a great irony in how anti-American and anti-Trump the NDP have been. NDP MLA Brian Mason says the phrase Trump-style politics as though it's some sort of boogeyman swear word. But in the end, it will be the Trump administration that gets a pipeline done from Alberta long before Justin Trudeau and Rachel Notley ever will. But the NDP are just too partisan with their Trump derangement syndrome to appreciate all that. At the end of the day, it feels like Rachel Notley thinks we're all stupid. We're all just supposed to forget what we know about the NDP and their very own history. Notley wants us to give her all the credit for the approval of a pipeline she's not only refused to support, but was actively against from the beginning. The mainstream media might fall for that spin, but we won't. And to be honest, I'd like to see Notley and Clinton on the same side of a few more things, like standing on the same side of the unemployment line. For the Rebel.media, I'm Sheila Gunn Reid. Did you know that I have a weekly show here on the Rebel, aptly called The Gun Show? I talk about Alberta and I speak to conservative newsmakers and have frank conversations with people the mainstream media tends to avoid. To get access to my show and all of our great premium content, become a Rebel subscriber today.